February 19th, 1945. Off the coast of a black volcanic island barely 8 square miles wide, the largest naval armada the Pacific War has ever assembled opens fire at dawn. Within the hour, 8,000 United States Marines wade ashore into a killing ground disguised as a beach, and by nightfall more of them will lie dead or wounded than on any single day in the history of the Marine Corps. Iwo Jima sits almost exactly halfway between the Mariana Islands and Tokyo, a volcanic speck whose radar station gives Japan early warning of incoming B-29 superfortress raids. American commanders want its 2 airfields desperately, a lifeline for crippled bombers limping home from Japan, and a base close enough for fighter escorts to finally reach the mainland. Whoever holds this island holds the air war. Japanese Commander Lieutenant General Tadamaki Kurabayashi rejects the old doctrine of dying gloriously on the beaches. Instead, he orders his 18,000 men underground, carving more than 11 miles of tunnels, pillboxes, and spider holes into the island's volcanic rock, connecting caves the Americans cannot even see from the sea. His orders leave no room for surrender. Every soldier will kill 10 Americans before he is allowed to die. Nearly 500 ships gather offshore as part of Operation Detachment, backed by carrier aircraft and battleships whose guns have already leveled cities across the Pacific. For 3 days and nights, naval bombardment pounds the island's surface without pause. Kurabayashi has trained his men for exactly this: to endure, to hide, and to strike only when the invasion begins. At 9:02 a.m., the first waves of the 4th and 5th Marine Divisions storm ashore, only to watch their jeeps and half-tracks sink axle-deep into soft black volcanic ash. Boots sink, men stumble under 80 pounds of gear, and for a few strange minutes the beach is almost silent. It is the calm before the deadliest ambush most of them will ever walk into. Then Kurabayashi's guns open up from positions the week-long naval bombardment never even touched, a pre-sighted crossfire of mortars and artillery pouring down from Mount Suribachi and the ridges beyond. There is no cover to dig into. The beach is already packed shoulder to shoulder with men, equipment, and the burning wreckage of landing craft. Marines are being killed by an enemy they cannot even see. By the close of the first day, roughly 2,400 Americans are dead or wounded, and the Marines have gained barely a few hundred yards of black sand. Officers radio back grim, disbelieving reports. It is only the first entry in a casualty list that will make Iwo Jima the costliest single battle in Marine Corps history. Flamethrower teams and Sherman tanks crawl forward to burn and blast Japanese defenders out of bunkers that stay invisible until the instant they open fire. Marines nickname the island Sulphur Island for the stench of rotten eggs seeping from its volcanic vents, and the meat grinder for what its defenses do to every man who crosses them. At the island's southern tip, the extinct volcano Mount Suribachi rises 550 feet above the beach, honeycombed with gun emplacements that rake the landing zones below with plunging fire. Taking it is the Marines' first objective, and after 4 days of grinding, cave-by-cave combat, a patrol from the 28th Marines finally nears the crater rim on the morning of February 23rd. The 40-man patrol reaches the summit and raises a small American flag scavenged from a transport ship, lashed to a length of scavenged Japanese pipe. Marines on the beach below erupt in cheers, ship horns blast across the anchorage, and for one suspended moment, the exhausted invasion force allows itself to believe the worst might be over. Hours later, a second and much larger flag is carried up to replace the first, and Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal swings his camera up just in time to catch 6 Marines straining together to plant the pole against the wind. He has no idea, in that split second, that he has just taken what will become the most reproduced photograph in the history of the medium. The photograph will one day stand for total victory, but on Iwo Jima itself, on the day it is taken, the battle is barely a third finished. Kurabayashi's main defenses lie north of Suribachi, dug into a shattered moonscape of ridges the Marines will come to call the Meat Grinder, Bloody Gorge, and Turkey Knob. For 3 more weeks, Marines claw forward through interlocking bunkers and tunnel networks where Japanese soldiers fight from caves that flamethrowers and satchel charges can barely reach. There is no continuous front line, only yards of scorched rock taken, lost, and taken again at point-blank range, day after day, cave after cave. By the time organized resistance ends, nearly 7,000 Americans have been killed and over 19,000 wounded, making Iwo Jima the only battle of the Pacific War where American casualties outnumber Japanese ones. Of roughly 21,000 Japanese defenders, fewer than 300 are ever taken alive. General Suribachi is never found. He is believed to have led one final assault before dying alongside his remaining men. His body never officially recovered from the island he swore to defend. On March 26, 1945, after 36 days of continuous combat, Iwo Jima is finally declared secure. The cost of the ground beneath their boots is already becoming clear. Rosenthal's photograph reaches American newspapers within 72 hours and detonates into an instant national symbol, printed on a postage stamp before the war has even ended and fronting the Seventh War Loan Drive that raises a then staggering $26 billion. It becomes, almost overnight, the defining image of the entire Pacific War. 3 of the 6 men frozen in that frame, Franklin Sousley, Michael Strank, and Harlan Bloch, are killed in action on Iwo Jima before the battle even ends, never knowing the image would make them famous. Survivor Ira Hayes returns home to a hero's welcome he never wanted, haunted for the rest of his short life by the friends who did not come back with him. Today, a bronze memorial cast from Rosenthal's frozen instant stands outside Arlington National Cemetery, honoring every Marine who has ever died in service to the Corps. But the real monument is the island itself, 8 square miles of black volcanic sand that cost more American blood, foot for foot, than any other battlefield of the Second World War.